I love that text. I like to translate that text a little differently, incorrectly, but which is that it's somewhere between in the meeting place of my strength and God's song that I find salvation. And we are here to find our strength and to practice God's song and hopefully to find community, if not salvation. We are glad that you are here. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to all of you who are joining us online and helping us build sacred community together. Now is a great moment to turn off your cell phone or anything that might distract you or the people around you. Also, if there are families with young children, our family room is available immediately across from the chapel, at least for a little while longer. You noticed as you came in, there's some art missing from the walls. That's because we're getting ready for the next phase of construction, which is very exciting. But the family room is available for children that need a break. And now we're going to invite up Claire Brooks to light our candles this evening in memory of her father, Kurt Lowenberg. The blessings for lighting candles are found on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
I was thinking this week about all of these seasonal changes. It's our last Shabbat of 2025. We just had the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. We just moved from the Hebrew month of Kislev to the Hebrew month of Tevet. Hanukkah is the only holiday that exists in 2 months. And so just very aware of the cycles of time moving as we move through winter. I hear it might even get cold in Houston next week. It reminded me of a poem by Ella Wheeler Wilcox about New Year's called The Year. What can be said in New Year's rhymes that cannot be said that's not been said 1,000 times? The new year comes, the old year goes. We know we dream we know. We rise up laughing with the light, we lie down weeping with the night. We hug the world until it stings. We curse it then and sigh for wings. We live, we love, we woo, we wed. We wreath our brides, we sheet our dead. We laugh, we weep, we hope, we fear, and that's the burden of the year. As we were thinking about those themes of cycles moving through the seasons, we thought of this beautiful song by Debbie Friedman that walks us through the Jewish calendar and the cycles of the moon and the cycles of time.
So I wanted to teach you this part that's going to happen a few times that goes like this. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. Let's try it. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. Beautiful. Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, Shvat, Adar, Bircham, Hamchadeshet, Kolet. This is the cycle, the rhythm of time. Days turn to weeks, into months, into years, and we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. Earth sleeps in the winter, awakening spring. Light kisses summer, igniting the fall, and we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. It is new, it is ours, we see it again. It is sacred, it has no beginning, no end, and we go round and round and round, and we go round and round, and we go round, and we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. And what keeps us grounded through all of the seasons is Shabbat. And so we welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. The words can be found on page 20. And of course, we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, because they're Rabbi Fixler's favorites, for one reason anyway. And when we get to that 9th verse, that's when we'll rise in body or spirit and turn our attention to the entrance as we welcome in this time of Shabbat like a bride. Lecha Dodi, Bikrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Bikrat Kala
We've greeted Shabbat, we've greeted the new year. Let's take a moment to greet each other. Turn to the people around you, wish them Shabbat Shalom. If you don't know them, introduce yourselves. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Page 28 for Baruch Hu, page 28.
Yai,
Dai, dai, yai, dai, dai.
Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. 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 So we now turn to page 30 where we find our Ma'ariv Aravim. One thing I love about our prayers is that they call us to notice where we are. This prayer, Ma'ariv Aravim, our evening prayer, calls us to notice the rolling of light into darkness and can be a call to notice the natural world around us. This past Monday and Tuesday, I went to Big Bend National Park with my family. We hiked the Window Trail and the Santa Elena Canyon. I hear those are very popular. The sky was clear and blue. The air was crisp in the morning. I a little bit regretted wearing shorts and at night, but it did warm up with the sunshine during the day. And I learned that the prickly pear cactus is the state plant of Texas. Maybe you all knew that. And I just fell in love with them. They were in abundance. The stars were, in fact, big and bright, and we marveled at them. Letting our eyes adjust for about 15 minutes was the recommendation, and watching as more and more stars would appear, even some shooting stars. We stood by the edge of the Rio Grande River on the border of Mexico and sang and shouted, our voices echoing on the canyon walls. And we visited the slightly odd art installation Prada Marfa at sunset and watched the glowing pinks and purples and blues in the vast sky beyond. So I have all these images in my mind as we now join together in this Chatima at the bottom of the page, Baruch Ata Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. And we now turn to page 32. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Nisma אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Page 36.
ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 41. We pray together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Mi chamocha on the opposing page.
Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai, mi kamocha edar b'kodesh nora, nora tilot osei velem nora tilot osei velem ba'alechutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam zeilianu ve'amru Adonai Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed va'ed Adonai Adonai yimloch yimloch le'olam le'olam va'ed va'ed yai lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. And so we come to our Hashkivenu prayer, that prayer that asks for protection through the night as our minds race and wander, to give us a sense of security and safety and peace. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim May you shelter us in peace until the morning comes. May you lay us down with love, and may you raise us up. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim
Our service continues on page 46. As we turn to the Amidah, we rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei hakol, ve'zocher chastei avot ve'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, liman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Ata gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha bal gevurot umidom elach melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'nemanata lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Michaye hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukedoshim bechol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. I have these ideas that I call little big thoughts. And little big thoughts are thoughts, usually science facts, I love a science fact, about sort of the grand scale of the universe that can make you feel very little. But then in the process of feeling very little, you start to feel very big because you start to think about all the ways in which you can impact the world around you, even if you can't impact the grand scale of the universe. And then you suddenly realize that you are not without power or purpose. And as I was reading poetry this week, I found a poem by Maya Angelou that seems to me to be a prayer for peace that is also a little big thought. It is about the big and vastness of the universe, but also about all the things we can do right here. And so as a prayer for peace, I wanted to share it with you. It's a selection from a longer poem called A Brave and Startling Truth. All prayers should be called a brave and startling truth, I think. We, this people, on a small and lonely planet, traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across the way of indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility and allow the pure air to cool our palms, we, this people, on this small and drifting planet, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling a life is sapped from the living, yet those same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible tenderness, that the haughty neck is happy to bow, and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, out of such contradiction, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines. When we come to it, we, this people, on this wayward floating body, created on this earth, of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible, we are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world. That is when, and only when, we come to it. We continue with Shalom Rav. The words will be on the screen.
Make of us a house for all people, gather us in hope for all people, surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim leolam. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tazim Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam.
We take a few moments now for silent prayer.
Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali.
We turn our prayers now to those in our lives and community who are in need of healing and wholeness and strength. We think of those whose pains we see and know, and those whose pains we can never see and never know, those who struggle with chronic pain and chronic illness, those in addiction and those in recovery. We send our prayers also to the caregivers who offer something of themselves each day in search of refuah shlema, a return to wholeness. We're thinking tonight of Marty Block and Lori Banyak, Kathy Borden, Elba Berman, Andy Kaplan, Kathy Chaco, Robert Cohn, Kathy Ellinger, Al Eisenberg, Damaris Figueroa, Daniel Friedman, Michael Friedman, Benjamin Gibson, Becky Ginsberg, Bert Goldstein, Sidney Greenblatt, Robin Hodgkins, Danny Holland, Christina Howard, Zachary Kalin, Per Knutas, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Charles Michael Lycover, Chuchi Liu, Andrew Merrick, Karen Mendunsa, Mary Denise Montgomery, Bernice Myers, Louis Anderson Myers Jr., Bonnie Niter, Ron Nodler, Magdalene Pessin, Alan Reingold, Neil Reisman, Maximilian Riviera, Sidney Rogan, Steve Schwartz, Rebecca Cernowitz, Edward Simmons, Rana Train, Hanakan Wolf, Yvonne Zients, Adele Mendel Bat Ita, Ariela Sharon Bat Yafa Shoshana, Chaim Zvi Ben Rivka, and Gelka Nechama Bat Leba Chaya, and all those who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, or spirit, we offer these words of healing and hope.
Sarah, Rivka, Rachel veLea yivarech ve'yirapeh et hacholim. Elna refana la, Elna refana la, Elna refana la, Elna refana la. Mi shebeirach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel veLea yivarech ve'yirapeh et hacholim.
Couple of announcements this Shabbat. Our offices will be closed on Wednesday, December 31st at 2 p.m. and will reopen on Friday, January 2nd at 8:30 a.m. Also, please note that there will be no Saturday morning gems or meditation classes tomorrow or January 3rd. You got the next one.
So our beloved Philip Hall and his legendary choir, the Philip Hall Singers, will return to Emmanuel on Thursday, January 15th at 7:30 p.m. to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. They will be joined by me and the Emmanuel Volunteer Choir and Youth Choir. It will be a really special evening of music. Find out about purchasing tickets on our website. We'd love to have you there with us.
And finally, we want to remind you about the two amazing travel opportunities coming in 2026. Our trip to Charleston, South Carolina, led by Rabbi Silk in April, and the trip to Israel, led by Rabbi Hayon in December. There are just a few seats left on both those buses, so if you would like to join, now is the time to sign up. More information is available on our website. This is the story of Dinah and Joseph, two siblings and kindred spirits, two lost souls who experienced profound violence and trauma, one who rose to great heights and one who all but disappeared, one who became the subject of their story and one who was the object. Dinah's story begins with a tragedy and ends in a mystery. The youngest of Leah's 7 children, Dinah went out one day away from the camp to Shechem to see the women of the land. As Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg explains, this is not the behavior of a woman in biblical times who were vulnerable when they left the protection of home. Dinah was spotted by a local prince and assaulted. When her brothers Simeon and Levi heard, they went into a violent rage, at which point Dinah disappears from the story. We hear about the impact of this assault on all the men around Dinah, but never how it affects Dinah directly. In fact, Dinah's never heard from again, save one mention in this week's Parsha in a list of Leah's children. Where did Dinah go? Like too many victims, she was robbed of her agency and a voice. Joseph, we know a lot more about. Joseph was the first child of Rachel, beloved by Jacob, who gives to Joseph a ketonet pasim, a fabulous flowing coat. Joseph was despised by the rest of Jacob's sons. One day, after getting directions from an unnamed man, Joseph finds his brothers in a field. They conspire to sell Joseph into slavery, which starts the journey that will take Joseph from the depths of despair all the way to the highest halls of Egyptian power. There are some unexpected details in the way the Torah and tradition describe Joseph. Genesis says that Joseph was 17 years old, but also was like a youth to Jacob's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. Bereshit Rabbah, a work compiled around the 5th century, asks the question, why describe Joseph as a youth if Joseph is 17, unquestionably an adult by biblical standards? The Midrash says this means that Joseph behaved like a young person, penciling their eyes, lifting their heel, curling their hair. This ancient text seems to understand that Joseph did not conform to strict gender norms, a teenager who applies eyeliner and hair curler, who walks with a sachet. And maybe Jacob knew this about his child too. The only other place in the Tanakh where the phrase katonet pasim appears is to describe the dress of Tamar, King David's daughter, where we're told that it's the clothes of maidens and royalty. Maybe the coat of many colors could be more accurately translated as a princess dress. So here we have two children who are not like their siblings. Even our earliest commentators comment on Dinah, whose behavior is not like that of other women, who leaves the protection of camp and goes out to Shechem, and Joseph, who goes out all done up with hair and makeup and clothes, unlike other men their age. And there's another ancient midrash that perhaps sheds even more light on these two unique teens. According to the Talmud, when Leah got pregnant for the 7th time, she became concerned not for the well-being of her child, but for the reputation of her sister Rachel. Leah knew that Jacob was destined to father 12 sons, to be the progenitor of 12 tribes. Leah had already given him 6 sons, and the handmaids, Bilhah and Zilpah, each had 2. Now Leah feared that she was pregnant with the 11th son, meaning Rachel could at best give birth to 1, leaving her with fewer even than the handmaids. Leah could not bear to shame her sister in this way, and so she prayed to God that God change the child in her womb from male to female. When the child was born, Leah chose the name Dinah from the name Din, judgment, in honor of the judgment and determination that had allowed her to protect her sister from shame. In another version of this midrash, Leah and Rachel are both pregnant at the same time. Targum Pseudo-Jonathan says that when Leah's prayers were heard, the boy in Leah's womb became a girl, and the girl in Rachel's womb became a boy, Joseph. The prayer changed both children's outward appearance, the gender they were assigned at birth, but not, I think, their souls, their understandings of themselves. This is why Dinah goes out of the house to explore the countryside in defiance of norms. The Torah says that Dinah goes to see the women of the land. Perhaps Dinah, having grown up around only brothers, goes to see what is expected of young women, to understand this thing that feels different in Dinah's heart. And perhaps this explains Joseph's behavior too. Joseph, who wants to wear pretty dresses, who hangs out with Jacob's handmaids, where they do each other's hair and pencil each other's eyes. I don't know if Joseph and Dinah were transgender in our modern understanding, but they have certainly been understood that way by modern scholars. But I do know that even our earliest commentaries have wrestled with their unorthodox gender presentations, with the ways they defy convention. Reading Dinah and Joseph in this way opens up a number of new ways to understand the text. Certainly, it highlights some of the tragedies inherent in it. Dinah's story centers around an assault. But Joseph, too, is rejected by their brothers, cast out of the family, and sent away from home. In Joseph's vulnerable state, they are trafficked, assaulted, and eventually imprisoned. Too often today, we see the same patterns. According to UCLA, transgender people are over 4 times more likely than cisgender people to experience violent victimization and assault. 1 in 3 transgender people in the United States has experienced homelessness. This queer reading of Joseph and Dinah helps us lift up those stories so that we might address such horrifying truths. Reading the story this way might also give us more sensitivity to Jacob. He had come from a household where the rivalry between him and his brother was exacerbated by his father and mother. Are we to believe that he would really play favorites in such a conspicuous way? Perhaps he wasn't playing favorites at all. Perhaps Jacob just saw Joseph in ways the brothers couldn't. as a kid who defied convention, who needed to be nurtured in their own way. Perhaps Jacob appreciated Joseph's uniqueness and saw in them a reflection of the bold, compassionate mother, Rachel. If Joseph wanted a princess dress, how could Jacob say no? We see Jacob's piercing insight into his child again later in the story. In next week's Parsha, Jacob will bless all his children. And the phrase Jacob will choose for Joseph is Birchot Shadayim Viracham, the blessing of breasts and womb. Traditionally, this is understood as a prayer for fertility. But Joseph already has 2 sons when they get the blessing. And I don't think it's an accident that Jacob chooses these feminine blessings for his child. Here at the end of his life, he says more clearly the message he failed to fully communicate when Joseph was younger. He says, go and be yourself, your fullest self, whatever that means, and I love you. And maybe Joseph did. Genesis says that Joseph's grandchildren were born upon Joseph's knees. As Rabbi Erwin Keller explains, giving birth upon someone's knees was a standard birthing posture in antiquity. Instead of flat on a bed working against gravity, the birthing mother would instead be in some sort of half-squatting, half-reclining position, with a midwife in front of her and leaning back on the knees of her mother or grandmother. The rabbis, commenting on the Torah, explained this away, saying that this was a metaphor, meaning Joseph's grandchildren were brought up at Joseph's feet. But this is not the plain meaning of the text. As Rabbi Keller says, for at least 1,700 years, biblical commentators have worked hard to explain why this verse means something different than what it actually says. Rather, in the last phase of Joseph's life, it seems they were able to be what they always dreamed, in the tent with the rest of the women. But there's one other thing that this reading of the text can do for us. It can help explain what happened to Dinah after the assault, after Dinah disappeared from the story. In Judaism, we use midrash to fill gaps and unanswered questions in the Torah. And when there's a question that has not been sufficiently answered, it is on us to write our own midrash. So here, for the first time tonight, I'll depart from the traditional midrashim and the modern scholarly readings of Joseph and Dinah and offer my own interpretive possibility. I think that after the horror of the assault in Shechem, and after seeing Simeon and Levi's violent, rage-filled response, Dinah left home. Like so many trans kids, Dinah ran away. But I like to believe that Dinah went to live as their truest self, changed their name, found a home and a life in Shechem, removed from the way that their brothers terrorized the black sheep of the family, the son and the daughter that did not fit in. How do I know this? Because I think that Dinah appears one more time in the story. When Joseph goes out to look for their brothers, Joseph encounters an unnamed man in Shechem. "What are you looking for?" asks the man. "I'm trying to find my brothers. Tell me where they have gone." It's hard to know if Joseph recognized their sibling at first. Having shed their name, having shed the vestiges of the female identity that had been given to them by Leah, this man stands before Joseph, his long-lost brother. I like to imagine there was more to this conversation that was lost to the Torah's record. Did Joseph comment on Daniel's new short hair? Did Daniel compliment Joseph's eye makeup? Did Daniel tell Joseph that there was a future of possibility of which they had both dreamed, a way to live as their truest selves? Did Daniel tell Joseph that there would be pain and discrimination along the way, but that there would also be triumph and joy? Did Daniel try to warn Joseph that their brothers would not accept them like their father had, that perhaps they would need to leave home to find themselves? Did Joseph offer to bring Daniel home? Did Joseph tell Daniel that he was still loved, that there was still a place for him in the story of our people, a 13th brother, or 12th if Josephine doesn't count herself? The Torah reminds us that the world is complex and beautiful in its complexity. The Torah reminds us that our modern realities are not as new as we might think. The Torah reminds us that there is a spark of the divine in each person and that it shines most brightly when they can be their truest selves. The Torah reminds us that the boys who pencil their eyes, and the girls who go out walking the land, and the men who change their names, and the women who are blessed in their old age with breasts or womb are beloved children of God. May they be granted protection that they might live free from discrimination, dehumanization, and violence. And may we all do our part so that all the children of Dinah and the children of Joseph might thrive. Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues with Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282 in the middle of the page. Please rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Atet Gedula L'Yotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kigoye Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim Umishtachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nemar V'haya Adonai Lemelech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Hahu Bayom Hahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo 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 Echad.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We take a few moments for silent memory. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the families of Dolly Chiswick, Janice Bertman, and Carol Garfield, who were laid to rest in recent days. We also recall those yard sites that fall at this season: William Alberts, Gloria Friedman Altman, Harvey Asher, Shirley Barish, Naftali Bar-Ner, Irene Naomi Rini Goldstein Beckman, Irene Bayer, Saul Block, Betty Lou Blumrosen, Robert David Bergman, Beatrice Selden Berman, Harold Dean Hal Camp, Joseph Carroll, Irwin Cohen, Israel Coplin, Anne Rosalie Cypress, Marvin Datz, Leon Davidson, Natalie Candy Davis, Betty Jo Tom Ford Dewson, Lizzie Eisenstein, Martin Epner, Charles Epstein, Sam Evanier, Rachel Feld, Edward Feldman, Nathan Mark Feldman, Margaret Furman Firestein, Sadie Fleischman, Edith H. Franklin, Barnett Franks, Frank H. Fried, Bernard Freeman, Morris Frey, Eddie Friedberg, Itzhak Friedenberg, Yetka Friedenberg, Miriam Galperin, Sherwin Gans, William Garrett, Charles Gerson, Louis B. Getz, Philip Getz, Alan Goldman, Ed Goodfriend, Rachel Cohen Greenfield, Arnold Grossman, Mary Patricia Haley, Ann Mervis Hirsch, Lena Herstein, Morris Herstein, Sarah Bessie Hirsch, Meyer Hoffman, Frida Hoffman, George Husid, Alan Hubbard, Gus Jacobs, Susan Rose Brown Johansson, Morris Kalin, Louis Karp, Annie M. Kirshner, Celia Klickstein, Gertrude Krakauer, Nathan Krakauer, Lauren Kugler, Jacob Lapidus, Mark Leiter, Emmanuel Levinas, Aaron Lewis, Joseph Rudnick Lewis, Martin Louis, Leon Lieberman, Louis Leidecker, Ira Liss, Kurt Lowenberg, Woodrow L. Molaski, Ralph Harold Minchin, Fanny Myron, Sam Myron, Ruth Mickey Nager, Ben Noble Jr., Leah B. Odell, George Orenberg, Marilyn Oshman, Max Pagel, Rosa Pagel, James Patty, Abe Pesso, Howard Picorni, Evelyn Pronin, Sarah R. Reich, Samuel Reif, Anita Reiner, Johnny B. Reinstein, Cecil Robbins, Joel Robinson, Edward Rose, Martin E. Rosen, Alma B. Rosenbaum, Anna Rosenblum, Miriam E. Rosemarin, Bella Sakin, Jane Rose Samuelson, Tilly Samon, Bernice Schnur, Roselle Schultz, Louis Siegel, Mame Selber, Maurice Seliger, Rose Rudnick Selzer, Helen Grapple Septimus, Morris P. Siegel, Fred Simpson, Howard K. Smith, Elaine Stallero, Ben C. Steinberg, David Strauss, Fanny Strauss, Miriam Grossman Tarnopol, Ruth B. Totter, Sandra Treistman, Lillian Weil, Ethel L. Wag, Rosalie Wide, David L. Weinbaum, Sam Weinberger, Coy Williams, Margit Wilson, Alexander Winter, Nettie Yaffe, Harris Zinner, and Selma Zients. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We rise together as one community for the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'ashmei rabba, ba'alma divrach chirutei v'al michmal chutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach leolam umea maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei dikud sha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran me'ama v'imru amen, Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen, Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Osei shalom
Bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Please be seated as we move from Kaddish to Kiddush, which can be found on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh haShabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Our Our closing song tonight, since, as Rabbi Fixler mentioned, it's the last Shabbat of 2025. And since we like to put our melodies to the tune of the season, we join together in these words of Adon Olam, which can be found on page 321. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra V'itnasa B'chefzo Kol Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora
Please rise for the closing benediction. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imutenu, our God and God of all our ancestors, God of brave and startling truths. God, open our hearts, open our minds, prepare us to receive a new year and to walk a circle once again, to walk that circle of triumph and tragedy, of challenge and opportunity, of faith and hope and possibility. Help us to hold one another in challenging times. Give us strength and courage in dark nights. We thank you for the many blessings in our lives, and we say together, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.